Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 4. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhari, Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhari, Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Paribrajakachaja Stotara Sata Shri Srimadesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Shira Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath, Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai, Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 4. Arjuna vacha aparam bhavato jamma param jamma vivashvataha katametad vavijaniyam tvamado proktavamiti. Arjuna vacha aparam bhavato jamma param jamma vivashvataha katametad vijaniyam tvamado proktavamiti. Arjuna vacha aparam bhavato jamma param jamma vivashvataha katam etad vijaniyam tvamado proktavamiti. Arjuna vacha. Arjuna said, Aparam junior, bhavataha yo, Jamma birth, param superior, Jamma birth, Vivashvataha the sun god, Katham how, Etad this, Vijaniyam shall I understand, Tvam you, Ado in the beginning, Proktavam instructed, Iti thus. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna said, the sun god Vivashvan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? Purport. Arjuna is an accepted devotee of the Lord. So how could he not believe Krishna's words? The fact is that Arjuna is not inquiring for himself, but for those who do not believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or for the demons who do not like the idea that Krishna should be accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For them only, Arjuna inquires on this point, as if he were himself not aware of the personality of Godhead or Krishna. As will be evident from the 10th chapter, Arjuna knew perfectly well that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the fountainhead of everything, and the last word in transcendence. Of course, Krishna also appeared as the son of Devaki on this earth. How Krishna remained the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, the eternal original person, is very difficult for an ordinary man to understand. Therefore, to clarify this point, Arjuna put this question before Krishna so that he himself could speak authoritatively. That Krishna is the supreme authority is accepted by the whole world, not only at present, but from time immemorial, and the demons alone reject him. Anyway, since Krishna is the authority accepted by all, Arjuna put this question before him in order that Krishna would describe himself without being depicted by the demons who always try to distort him in a way understandable to the demons and their followers. It is necessary that everyone for his own interest knows the science of Krishna. Therefore, when Krishna himself speaks about himself, it is auspicious for all the worlds. To the demons, such explanations by Krishna himself may appear to be strange because the demons always study Krishna from their own standpoint. But those who are devotees heartily welcome the statements of Krishna when they are spoken by Krishna himself. The devotees will always worship such authoritative statements by Krishna because they are always eager to know more and more about him. The atheist who consider Krishna an ordinary man may in this way come to know that Krishna is superhuman, that he is Satchit Ananda Vigraha, the eternal form of bliss and knowledge, that he is transcendental, and that he is above the domination of the modes of material nature and above the influence of time and space. A devotee of Krishna like Arjuna is undoubtedly above any misunderstanding of the transcendental position of Krishna. Arjuna's putting this question before the Lord is simply an attempt by the devotee to defy the atheistic attitude of persons who consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being subject to the modes of material nature. Arjuna vacha aparam bhavato jamma param jamma vivashvataha kataham etad vijaniyam twadado proktavamiti. So as Prabhupada explains in this purport, later on in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna glorifies Krishna by defining him as Param Brahma, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavam. He knew that Krishna was the Param Brahma, the Supreme Spirit, Param Dhamma, the Supreme Destination, Pavitram, the purest, Paramam Bhavam, the goal of life, Shashvatam, who doesn't change, Divyam, spiritual, Adi Devam, the origin of all the demigods, the origin of all power. So, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham, who is always a person, Adi Devam, Ajam Vibhum, the origin of all the devas, Ajam, unborn, and Vibhum, always on a transcendental spiritual platform. This is Krishna. This knowledge about Krishna has been extant, has been present in this universe since the beginning of the creation. But due to the passing of time, this knowledge is lost. Why? Because the living entities living in this material world are enemies of Krishna, are insubordinate to Krishna. They misuse their independence and they do not want to accept Krishna, and they they are so absorbed in their own ego, so absorbed in their own body, that they measure everything from the standpoint of the body. Prabhupada gives the example of the frog who lives in a well, and the well is only 6 foot wide, and some other frog comes from the ocean side and is explaining to the frog in the well about the nature and the size of the ocean. So the frog in the well says, good, you're telling me about this body of water, this ocean, so how big is it? And the visiting frog says, it is huge, you cannot even imagine. So the well frog says, well, is it 100 times the size of my well? 1,000 times the size of my well? All right, 1,000,000 times. You cannot measure the extent and breadth and capacity of the ocean by using the water in the well. That you cannot compare. It is just like trying to compare the sun to a particle of sunshine, to a spark. A spark of sunshine, if you look at the window when the sun is coming through the grill, these tiny sparks of light, you cannot compare them to the size of the sun. So the living entity is a small spark of the sun, which is Krishna. Krishna is the sun, the living entity is a spark in the sunshine, or the spark of the fire. And without the power of the sun, the sunshine cannot exist. Without the power of the fire, the spark cannot exist. Indeed, the spark has a tendency to fall into the ash and become covered, even though the spark is actually fire, same quality. We are the same quality of Krishna, and because Krishna is supremely independent, we have also our minute independence. We are minute particles of Krishna. We have minute samples of all his qualities, and one of his qualities is independence. What is the use of this independence? The independence has a purpose, a very, very important purpose. The independence given to us is meant for us to give love to Krishna. Without independence, there is no love. Just like what we call love in the material world is actually lust, urva moolam. Everything in the material world is upside down, just like the tree on the bank of the reservoir of water. If you look at the tree, it is right side up. But if you look at the reflection of the tree, it is upside down. So urva moolam, the roots going up, adaha shakam, the branches going down, ashwatam praur avyayam. Krishna says the material world, it is just like this ashwata, this banyan tree. So, that love of Godhead, which is eternal and which eternally connects us with Krishna, when it is manifested in the material world, independently of Krishna, it becomes lust. Just like when the spark of the fire falls away from the fire, it loses its luminance, it loses its brightness. And the reason that we have independence, as I said, is so that we can use it to love Krishna. Just like, so in the material world, the so-called love that we express for each other is actually lust. I love you as long as you satisfy my conception of you, my desire of you, my expectations of you. If what I expect from you, you no longer provide, then that love is finished. The closest we can understand what is pure love is the love of the mother for the child. The mother loves the child. She doesn't even know why she loves the child. She simply loves the child unconditionally and without any expectation of any return. This is the closest we can understand. So love of God is like that we love Krishna without any expectation of return. Krishna is the reservoir of everything. He is Ishvara Parama, the supreme controller. Satchitananda Vigraha. His body is full of knowledge, full of bliss, and full of eternity. Anadir Adi. He has no beginning, although he is the beginning of everything. He is called Govinda because he is the pleasure giver to our senses and to the cows. So, Sarva Karana Karanam, and he is the cause of all causes. So Krishna is complete, is Purnam, Purnamada Purnamidam, is completely perfect. And everything coming from him is also perfect. So the material world is also perfect. So how do we understand how to utilize this independence? We understand it like this, that Krishna is everything, but he wants our love. That is the one thing he doesn't have. That is one minute independence which is part of our essence. So when this independence is used independently of Krishna, it becomes lust. And when it is used to serve Krishna, it becomes love. So this is the whole idea. And in this verse, Arjuna is asking this question about Krishna, but actually already in this is the 4th chapter of the Gita, already in the 2nd chapter, Krishna explained to Arjuna, Natu eva aham jatu nasham, that no you, no me will ever die and will always exist. Natvam neme janadipa, no all these kings, nor in the present, nor in the future. So already Krishna has explained to Arjuna what is the nature of the living entity. So, is eternal nature. Therefore, Arjuna inquiring here, it is simply, as Prabhupada explains in the purport, for the purpose of enlightening the living entities who are separated from Krishna. There are two types of people. There are people who are eternally liberated, who live with Krishna in the spiritual world, and there are those who are eternally conditioned, who live in the material world. The material world is meant for those living entities who are misusing their independence, as is their right to do. But of course, Krishna understands that without using our independence to love him, without making Krishna our partner in life, through the purpose of bhakti, through the purpose of having Krishna always as our friend, as our inner guru or Chaitya guru, without always having Krishna as our advisor, he knows that if we don't accept this position, we will never be happy in the material world, because the material world is designed to make us understand that our independence is meant to serve Krishna. That's why we were created. Just like a father, a man, he meets a woman they create a family, they create children, so they can enjoy an exchange of love and affection. The father very happily maintains the children, and all he wants in return is an appreciation. So we should be intelligent enough to understand the purpose of the material world. That's why we need leaders who are God conscious, Krishna conscious. What is a Krishna conscious leader? A Krishna conscious leader is one who understands that his subjects are spirit souls. One who understands that the body is temporary. One who understands that whatever material endeavors you perform, they will come to an end. One who understands that the purpose of the material world is to frustrate our material desires so we can awaken our spiritual desires in connection with Krishna. And the atheists, they are like our present leaders, they are always critical. The nature of an atheist is that he is critical of God. He doesn't want to hear. Therefore, a devotee who wants to preach, like what I'm trying to do, is considered to be a Madhyam Adhikari, or a middle devotee. There is a Kanishta Adhikari, beginning devotee. There is a Madhyam Adhikari, the middle of the road devotee. And there is an Uttam Adhikari. The Madhyam Adhikari sees four principles very clearly. He understands Krishna, he sees Krishna in a temple, he tries to see Krishna everywhere within his heart and in the heart of others, and he tries to make friendship with Krishna. He becomes Krishna's devotee. Then he sees the innocent people, and he tries to preach to the innocent, those who are like you, who are listening, who are eager to hear about Krishna, who are not antagonistic. Then he sees the devotees of Krishna, and he offers them respects, and he becomes friends. And he sees those who are demons, those who are atheists, and he avoids them. He's not interested in them. So, to preach, one is to make these distinctions. And to make these distinctions is to understand the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita. Factually, then there is also the topmost devotee, the Uttama Adhikari, who actually doesn't see a need to do anything. He sees everything in connection with Krishna. He understands that the whole material creation is planned by the work of Krishna. That Krishna's plan is behind everything. He doesn't require to do anything. He's already on the highest platform. But you cannot imitate that. And if you want to preach, then you have to come down to the second platform, to the middle platform, and understand the different natures, the different modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, how they work together to create so many varieties, to understand, to be able to live the understanding of the purpose of the material world so you can share it with the innocent people. So you can speed up their process of understanding Krishna. But ultimately, of course, everything is Krishna, everything is connected with him. Even when you criticize Krishna, that criticism doesn't stick to Krishna. There's a very nice example of King Jarasandha. So King Jarasandha was a contemporary of Krishna. He was a very, very powerful king of the present Bihar state, and his daughter was married to Kamsa, Krishna's uncle. Kamsa was Krishna's uncle because Kamsa's father, Ugrasena, was the brother of Devaka, who was the father of Devaki, Krishna's mother. So they were cousin, brother, and sister. In the Vedic system, cousin brothers are considered like brothers. So Kamsa was the cousin brother of Devaki, who was the mother of Krishna. Therefore, he was Krishna's uncle. Krishna killed Kamsa because he was a demon. And after he killed Kamsa, Kamsa's two wives, Asti and Prapti, who were the daughters of Jarasandha, they went back to their father's kingdom. And when Jarasandha found out that his son-in-law had been killed by Krishna, he became very angry and he attacked Krishna's city of Mathura with a huge number of soldiers. In fact, he attacked Mathura 18 times. When he first came, he challenged Krishna and he said, Krishna, you're Purusha Adham. You're the lowest of all men. Purusha means person and Adham means low. You're the lowest of all men. And then he said, you're Bandhuhan. You're the killer of your relatives. Prabhupada comments in the Krishna book that these are the demons. Jarasandha criticized Krishna because he killed his uncle. But he didn't criticize his brother-in-law, Krishna's uncle, Kamsa, when he killed 6 babies of Devaki. Oh no, then he didn't criticize. It is like a present day political situation. Our political leaders criticize each other, but nobody takes responsibility for his own faults. No, it is always somebody else's fault. This is demoniac nature. This is pride. But even though Jarasandha criticized Krishna, Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, she turned his words around and made him, instead of critical to Krishna, to glorify Krishna. So Purusha Adham doesn't just mean the lowest of mankind. It means one who, in his presence, everybody else is lower. Everybody else is pushed down. Purusha Adham. Krishna is Purusha and he pushes down everybody else because nobody else is equal or greater than him. Krishna says in the Gita, Matta Paratara Nanyat, there is no one equal to me. Kinchirasti Dhananjaya. So Purusha Adham was meant to criticize Krishna as being the lowest of all mankind, but Saraswati turned it around and made it that Krishna is so exalted that in comparison to Krishna, everybody is going down. And then Bandhuhan means, Bandhu means friend, and Bandhu also means to bind. So Bandhuhan is one who destroys Maya, because every living entity living in the material world is bound up by the ropes of Maya. So Krishna is Bandhuhan. He breaks these ropes. He breaks us away from Maya and he gives us liberation. And his devotees feel the same way. That's why Arjuna is asking these questions. He already knows the answers, but he's asking the question so that we can understand. Especially so I can understand, because believe me, I'm no devotee. Maybe I'm a little bit of a devotee now, but Prabhupada's mercy. But in most of my life, I wasn't a devotee. Nicha Jati. I was born in a demoniac family. Nicha Sangi. My associations were all demoniac. Patita Adam, the most fallen. Kuvishai Kupepori Goneyojam. I was wasting my life in the dark well of material enjoyment. My main business before meeting Prabhupada was chasing women, drinking wine, and eating meat. That was my main, and getting intoxicated. That was my main business. But somehow, by the activity of Srila Prabhupada, which mirror the activities of Arjuna, I got enlightenment, I got knowledge, I got to understand who I was. And this is a great blessing from Krishna. Our main business is to allow Krishna to work through us. We are Krishna's extensions, just like my hand and my fingers are extensions of my body. They work for my benefit. So we are created by Krishna to work for his benefit. I was just reading a very nice example in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. When Sanatana Goswami, who was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, when he came to Jagannath Puri, he came from Vrindavan and he came through the Jarikanda forest. And because he was coming through the forest, he wasn't getting proper food and he drank some bad water, he became afflicted with sores all over his body. He had boils all over his body and they were oozing moisture and blood. But Lord Chaitanya didn't mind, he kept embracing him. And Sanatan, he became so upset, he said, I've come here and I'm simply making offenses to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he's embracing me and the wounds of my body are oozing this moisture that is going on his body. So he felt so terrible, he decided to commit suicide. That was his main. He was thinking, as soon as the Ratha Yatra begins, I will go in front of the cart of Jagannath and I will throw myself under the wheel. So having made this decision, the next day when Lord Chaitanya came to see him, he said to him, "My dear Sanatan, if we could achieve Krishna by committing suicide, we would give up millions of our bodies. You have surrendered to me. You have given me your body. You have no business to commit suicide. Your body belongs to me. I have so much work to do through you. You have to establish the principles of Vaishnavism. You have to excavate all the holy places of Vrindavan. I cannot do that. I am living in Puri by the order of my mother. I cannot go to Vrindavan and do the work. So I need to do the work through you. This is the purpose of devotion. So somehow pray to Krishna. Please, Krishna, engage me in your service." This is the Hare Krishna mantra. The Hare Krishna mantra is simply calling to Krishna. And when Krishna looks at us, he will engage us in his service. Thank you very much. So, we have some comments. Comments have disappeared. That's very good. Okay, here we are. So we have, first of all, we have humble obeisances to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna, from Atmavidya Prabhu, and Anna Maria, Hare Krishna, all obeisances, all glories to Prabhupada. Ekanatha Dasi, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Devananda Dubey, Hare Krishna. And again, 9th June, visiting on Krishna's birthplace, Mathura. Very good. Krishna is Mathura Nath, the Lord of Mathura. So, if you visit Mathura, you will become liberated. Thank you very much, and we'll see each other again on Friday. Hare Krishna.